technology behind these things is just phenomenal.
All right, we finally made it. This is the 5-year review of the Aimpoint PRO Rifle Optic. When it comes to this high-tech stuff, I like to really give it a long time to demonstrate its true quality. So I waited quite a few years before I would put my stamp of endorsement on this thing and actually say that it's ready to go. And this is a pretty slick little optic. The PRO is a patrol rifle optic that's kind of designed for law enforcement units. Although it's designed for that application, it works great for sporting applications, hunting, low light. If you're on the ranch and you got a lot of little critters that are attacking the ranch at night and you got to take care of them, this thing's incredibly handy. It works great on an AR-15 rifle. We had this mounted on a lot of different rifles. This was on a SIG 5.56, several different AR-15s, and we even had it on a KSG shotgun for a while. And we got a good chance to get thousands of rounds through these different weapons with this optic mounted, and we can tell you, after all the blood, sweat, and tears, that this thing is incredibly rugged and reliable. So let's take a quick look at the features. Number one cool thing about this optic is it's always ready to go. You can leave it turned on. You can leave it turned on for up to 3 years, and in fact, I did that, and it did last about 3 years, the battery. This thing takes 3-volt lithium batteries, type 2L76 or DL1 3N batteries. And the battery life translates, if you're using it with daytime use, position 7 out of 10 on the brightness level, it'll last 30,000 continuous hours. One of the problems with a lot of these other red dot style optics is that the batteries do go dead, and if you're using this for a home defense application, the problem is you might forget every 2 or 3 months to double check to make sure your batteries are working, and when you need it most, the thing ain't gonna work because the battery went out. That's what's cool about Aimpoint technology, is they really busted through all the barriers and figuring out how to make these things actually have a decent battery life, to where you have an acceptable degree of confidence that when you pick it up in the middle of the night in a panic situation, it's gonna be on. One thing I like about the PRO optic specifically is it has a 2-minute of angle red dot. And this works really good. We had absolutely no difficulty when we were running around shooting offhand from point blank all the way out to about 150 meters on smaller targets like pop bottle size or maybe 6-inch targets. You can smack 6-inch steel all day long off with this 2-minute of angle red dot. It also even works if you're laying down and you're trying to shoot longer range, and you'll have no problem even smacking stuff out to 300, 400, and even 500 yards if you kind of know what you're doing and have a basic idea of the drop at those distances. The 2-minute dot is fine. Of course, on a site like this, you're going to have 0 magnification. But if you've got decent vision, the 2-minute of angle red dot works plenty fine for even medium range precision applications. Destroyed. Stand by for further instructions.
Who says you can't do precision work with a red dot?
Well, we just proved him wrong.
If you got half decent vision, it ain't that hard.
No, that's excellent, man.
Of course, with this kind of a design, you're going to have enhanced speed on target and increased first shot hit probability. When you compare it to iron sights, you can get on sight very quick and have confidence that you're going to hit exactly where you're pointing it because you don't have to worry about sight picture with an optic like this. You just put the dot where you want it to go. It's compatible with all generations of night vision devices. That's another cool thing about this PRO, is a lot of these different red dot sights and aren't really set up for night vision, but these will work with most of your night vision goggles and binoculars. Like most of your other precision optics, it's made out of hard anodized aluminum, so it's built pretty rugged. We slammed it around, threw it around, let people borrow it, threw it in the snow, everything you can imagine. All different temperatures from 100 degrees and up, all the way down to actually like negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit out here. And so we got it fully battle tested in all different kinds of environmental conditions, had zero problems. You can use an anti-reflection device on this. It does come with the front and rear flip cover, which keeps the lenses clean. The battery and adjustment cap retainer straps make sure that you're not going to lose your turret caps. Okay, that's something that normally sucks on an optic like this, is where you might be doing adjustment in the field. You lose your turret caps, and that's never a fun deal. So it's nice, smart design here. It's got a modular mount setup for use that's designed for flat top AR-15s and M4s and the M16 series rifles. And it does work okay on some other platforms. However, it is mounted kind of high. As a lot of you probably know, with an AR-15, the way it's situated, you kind of almost need a riser block for most of your optics on there, because it's hard to get your cheek sometimes low enough to use low-mounted optics. So this is really set up for an AR. It is a little bit high, like on a SIG 556 we were using here, the classic model. It's a bit high for those applications. You don't get a proper cheek weld. It's not too terrible. It still worked fine, and I used it that way for a couple years of the test, and it works great. However, this thing is kind of designed for AR-15s, so if that's what you're running, this is an incredible choice. However, if you're running an FAL, a SIG, or a rifle with different ergonomics, you might want to test it out before you purchase it. Another really slick feature this thing has is the QRP2 rail grabber mount. So you simply snap it onto your Picatinny and you turn the knob until it clicks 3 times, and it's kind of like a torquing ratchet. And it's not going to deform your rail like any other mounts. You don't got to have a good feel for torque. You just crank it on until it starts clicking, and you're set.
You're going to mess with scopes and things like this, see? And do any kind of work, because that's the safest way to do it, is to load it first. And then you would do all your adjustments and playing with the rest of it. So,
Taking a play right out
wait,
of
no, it's the opposite.
Pete Wiggleson's book there.
No, wait, it's the opposite of what I just said. Okay, so she's ratcheted on. I got her mounted kind of the way I like it. Just, flush with the front of the receiver there. See what's going on? Okay. And I have no idea how close this is going to be to zero or not. So, how shot up is that target?
Not too
it's
bad.
Totally
Okay.
uniform
Like
how it
middle-
mounts. The
middle could
repeatability
probably
is
be the
good.
best
We
one.
took it on and off a couple rifles, and when we put it on, there was no discernible practical change in impact. So it is repeatable.
Ready?
It's built pretty well.
Roger
so this
that.
optic is a reflex collimator sight with LED. Its optical magnification is basically 1 power. Its dot intensity is plenty bright. Even in the snow where it's real bright, you can still see it when you crank it all the way up. So that the real bright setting is handy for real bright applications. And as it gets darker, you can turn it down as to not kind of flood out the dot area. It is night vision compatible, as I mentioned before. It's got anti-reflex on all optical surfaces, got a clear aperture of 26 millimeters, and unlimited eye relief. It's a pretty compact unit. It's 4.5 inches long. The sight weight is 220 grams, and it's a device that is designed to be useful in all different kinds of environmental conditions. This thing is rated for negative 49 degrees Fahrenheit to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. And a lot of you might not think that 160 is ever going to happen, but you forget about leaving the rifle maybe in the trunk of a car on a hot summer day. So you do experience those temperatures sometimes. And up here it does get 50 below. It is pretty tough when you're talking about shock, It'll put up with any kind of shock you're going to throw at it. So it's a heavy-duty unit when you're talking about recoil, and even the goofy kinds of recoil you might have on some of your other rifle platforms. This is designed for semi-automatic rifles, so it is going to be able to put up with that forward recoil impulse better than a lot of other optics. And it is designed with some chemical resistance, so if you're on a helicopter that's leaking hydraulic oil all over the place, or lubricating oil, you can get your brake free on there, your different kinds of fuel, diesel, solvents, all your different cleaning supplies, and it's not going to hurt anything on this optic. So it's designed with that in mind. It's designed to be used aggressively. It is easy to get set up. You simply, like we said before, I like to mount them a little bit forward. Like on an AR-15, I like to get them mounted as far forward as I can on the receiver without overlaying onto the handguards. That seems to be a decent position, at least for me. I like to zero these at about 100 meters. That seems to be a decent range for zero. A lot of guys have maybe different opinion on that, but for our applications of point blank to 300, that seems to do fine. The adjustment range is plus or minus 1 meter at 100 meters, so you can have quite a bit of adjustment range there. And one click is going to equal about 13 millimeters at 100 meters. That's about 7/16 of an inch at 100 yards. Here's some footage of Lou and I readjusting these optics, switching them on the rifles. I have the old model, and Lou has a updated model. Just a little bit different design, and we'll just go ahead and let you see what happened. Well, we got her zeroed, at least for now. Got like a 25 mile an hour wind out there, so we'll retune it later. What do you think?
Aside from the wind, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That was, what, less than 20 rounds out there?
Yeah.
20 rounds and...
Got her tuned in exactly perfect, yeah.
Yeah. Started off close, and then we took it out about 100 meters, and aside from the wind and a little game day jitters and shaking, trying out a new scope, I'd say it went pretty well.
And for a zero magnification, you can still smack those small targets.
That's the other thing too, is getting that red dot just the right size so it doesn't obscure your target. And there's really an art to it. I've really never shot with a red dot before, so it's new for me, and we're learning right here on TiborasaurusRex's Precision Shooting Channel. It's amateur hour here at the gun range today.
Say when.
We're rolling.
Oh! So I actually changed my mind. The way this had been situated on that SIG for 5 years works fine, run around offhand. But when you really accomplish proper cheek weld, it is situated a little bit high. So I'm going to put this, I think it's kind of designed for an AR platform. So I'm just going to throw it on this M4 here. So we'll go through the procedure real quick. We'll put in some ammo. To zero the PRO, you simply insert ammo in your weapon somehow, preferably through a Lancer L5 Advanced Warfare whatever thing this is.
Those are pretty slick too.
Yeah, they're nice. Okay, now it's always good to put a loaded magazine in the rifle when you're going to mess with scopes and things like this, see? And do any kind of work, because that's the safest way to do it, is to load it first. And then you would do all your adjustments and playing with the rest of it. So
Taking a play right out
wait,
of
no, it's the opposite.
Pete Wiggleson's book there.
No, wait, it's the opposite of what I just said. Okay, so she's ratcheted on. I got her mounted kind of the way I like it. Just, flush with the front of the receiver there, see what's going on. Okay. So I don't know how well you fellas can see that. Looking through the rear peep. Got good sight picture, and you can see that red dot sitting right on top of that. Ready? So, I want to zero this PRO that I just threw on this AR. I got standard A2 front sight, and I got this mag-pull deal right here, see? Now the nice thing about the height of this is I can do what they call a co-witness, and people really like to use that term because it's fancy. What that means is you look through, you can see right through the sight, and you see your open sights. So you have two witnesses, you got your iron sights and you got your red dot.
So I'm looking, I got my iron sights lined up on the target, and I see that it's just slightly to the left. And being that these iron sights are totally zeroed, I don't really have to do a whole lot besides move that dot until it agrees with my iron sights. You know what I mean? Pretty slick, huh? Now you can see this is an older model. This has a different style of turret cap than the other one did, as you can see. But it's the same situation. So, I need to come right about an inch, approximately. That's going to be like 8 clicks, most likely, because it's half-minute clicks at 25, so. It's been a long night last night. I'm still tired. There we go, look at that. So what I have going is, if I'm really, really behind my sight, I want that dot right in the center of that front post. And it looks like I've kind of achieved that. Maybe one more click, huh? Let's do one more click.
Is there any way we could get a shot of that? The two lined up there?
Oh yes, it can happen. So I don't know how well you fellas can see that. Looking through the rear peep, got good sight picture, and you can see that red dot sitting right on top of that post, hopefully.
That's pretty awesome.
Can you dig what I'm saying? So that's what that co-witness means. So if I was to flip this down, crank her up, there's that dot. Beautifully aligned with the iron sights. Let her fly.
But she gets me, disassembles my leg. So I went to the doctor and he gave me a leg. Now she waits, it's no more just a dream and a pain. Hope that she kills instead of leaving with me. Though she's a Minefield, she'll bite your body from your soul.